Hi guys, this is week 1 Project Life, and as usual I've got my photos printed out here. This week I'm going to use a whole bunch of stuff from the Rosie Studios Let's Get Together collection, and I've also got the 3 newest stamp sets from Kellie Stamps. Now those are all available in the shop right now. There is a discount code for you down below in the description box, so if you head over there to pick up anything for yourself, don't forget to use the discount code. Now I had a little problem with my photos this week. I didn't have a single horizontal photo. Was a little bit of like just one of those weeks, you know, where yeah, photo taking wasn't a huge priority, so I didn't have a lot of photos, definitely no horizontal ones, so I've had to switch things up a little bit from how I usually print my photos. So I have printed a larger 6x8 photo of a really shitty rainy day and popped that onto the left hand side. Normally when I do an enlargement like that I put it on the right, but I've moved that down to the left. And instead of having 2 horizontal 4x6s, I've just printed a couple of extra 3x4s, and I'm using some of that pattern paper to fill in the 4x6 slots. I'll just pop the 3x4 on top of it, and then I've got a couple of little photos, so you still get to see some of the pattern paper, and it will fit into my 4x6 pocket really nicely. Now I'm going through some of the sort of die cut pieces from Rosie Studios. This is one pack that it's sort of like journaling spots, so they're less themey, less busy sorts of die cuts, which works perfectly for Project Life. I literally only end up using a couple, but I picked out one that I like there for my journaling. I've got a spot that's empty of photos, and I've left it blank for now from pattern paper because I didn't know which pattern to put in there. So for now I've just left it blank, and I'm gonna start working on my title card. Now this is the birthday alpha from Kellie Stamps, and because I'm stamping on this quite brightly coloured pattern paper, I decided to swap out my normal Memento Tuxedo black ink for this Umbrella Crafts one, which I don't actually love working with, but it is a super black ink, which works really nicely when you have to stamp over top of a heavier pattern like this. So I'm just spelling out week 31. This is an awesome alpha that actually includes numbers. You know, those are my favorite kinds. So I'm keeping it super simple because this pattern paper that I've picked, I mean, it's a rainbow. I had to use the rainbow, but it is pretty busy. So I'm just gonna stamp out the title and then add my date stamp on that little arrowy piece. I'm only going to use the pink part of that. And then in the sticker pack were these really pretty like doily stickers. I guess they're doilies. I assume they're doilies anyway. And I just added 3 of those just to add a little bit of texture to the card. So I really like how that looks. I'm going to move the arrow up to the top there and just do my date stamping on there. So I stick that down and cut off the piece at the end that's gold foiled. I'll keep that and use that for something later on, but for now it's just to add a little bit of pink and somewhere to date my stamp. Again, this is super brightly coloured, so I'm going to use that same Umbrella Crafts ink, and it's one of those weeks that covered both July and August, so I just partially inked up that date stamp so that I could fit both the months on there. And then instead of drawing my usual little heart, I just added one of the enamel hearts from the same collection. So here we go, I'm working on my first 4x6, so I'm going to stick the 3x4 onto the right hand side, and this one at the top I'm just alternating that I'm going to put it onto the left. And then I've got these little, I think they're about 2.5 inch square photos that are going to go there. And it's at this point I had the brilliant idea to fill in that gap that I've got there. Why not do a sequin shaker pocket? It's been a good long while since I've put any sequins into my Project Life album, so this seemed like the perfect opportunity. My good friend Alice had sent me a bunch of sequins, and so I just quickly went and mixed up a little I wouldn't even call it a mix. I literally picked out the few sequins that you see there to put into a pocket. And all I did was cut down a regular sort of Project Life pocket and stitch around 3 sides, add in the sequins and then stitch up the top. That's as simple as it gets. I like having it in a little sort of shaker card almost like that, because I don't know what's going to be on the back of this. It's probably not going to be a see-through pocket, I'll be honest with you. It'll just be the back of something else. So usually it's a photo, which means it's just white behind there, so you do still get the sort of effect of the sequins, but that way I can slip it in and out as need be. So now I've got that sorted, I can start carrying on with the rest of my layout, and I'm going to start using some of these stamps. I've got the LOL set and the birthday set here, and I'm just picking out ones that work with the week, because to be honest, the week was neither funny nor filled with celebrations, so you can still make these sorts of stamp sets work for you though. I got a really huge box, I mean like an enormously huge box of design team stuff from Pink Paisley. You can see the box in this photo here. It's bigger than Lily. I thought that was pretty hilarious. She stood next to it and I had my camera handy, so I grabbed a picture of that. She looks ridiculously small next to there. So I've just added a couple of stamps, one onto a sticker, and the sticker felt a little bit sort of slick to me, so I did use some StazOn ink on top of that one, just to make sure it was well, dry straight away but didn't smudge or anything like that. I used some of the Brilliance Moonlight White ink to stamp that little heart bubble above Lily, and it has a gap for the heart, but one of those enamel hearts fit in there perfectly, so I added that instead. Because a lot of these sentiments don't really go with the cold, wet and sick theme of this week, I'm using that birthday alpha a lot to just spell out simple sentiments for myself. So I was starting to feel pretty terrible, so resting was high on the priority. I've just spelled that out there. And then I want to use this sentiment here, which says friends and fun times, and I want to use that almost ironically. So I've partially inked up the fun times, stamped it down, didn't protect my photo, and when I pulled the stamp up, it ripped off half my photo. And you can see here, I was going to pull it off, I was going to reprint it, and I was like, no, I don't want to reprint a photo because I've made a mistake. So I was sort of racking my brain to work out what I could do, and I decided to just re-stamp this stamp here. I'm trying to sort of partially block it out, but I'm not going to try. I'm just going to stamp it down because Fun Times didn't stamp particularly well the first time. And I'm going to just stick my photo back down on top of Friends, and I'm going to use some of these little strips that were in this die cut pack to cover up the ripped photo, sorry. There was one that said Monday, and this was Monday, so but it's quite fat and long, so in the end I've just gone for one of these sort of coloured strips. It adds a little bit of colour, a little bit of fun, and covers up my mistake, and I don't have to reprint a photo, so I'm, you know, super happy with that result. For a mistake, it's probably as good as it can get. I had a quick look to see if there were any stickers I could use, and instead I again partially inked up another stamp to sort of be sarcastic. Oh yeah, fun times. And this time I just used my good old Memento Tuxedo Black because it's my favorite. It works every time and I don't have any issues like this. So it's a little bit lighter, but that's fine by me. Now, because I've done that down the bottom to make it less sort of stand out like a sore thumb, I'm going to repeat that up the top as well. So I grabbed another one of those strips. This one's sort of a pretty red and pink one for my little photo of Mel, and I'm just going to stamp the word happy. We're eating chips, and that's the only time that I can get her to pose for a photo like that. She loves chips, so she was happy. This is Shane in bed, sick, and it makes me laugh because even he'll joke about having the man flu. He definitely didn't have the man flu. He had a cold. He obviously felt like it was the man flu, and then he gave it to me and I definitely got the man flu. Now I had this journal spot picked out and I really liked it, so I did want to use it, and because I ended up putting that sequin pocket there, it's not going to go where I originally thought it was going to go. It covered up just too much of those sequins, so I played with it on the lighter part at the top of this enlargement, but I actually like the balance of it better down the bottom here. And I did still want to stamp a sentiment, and again I needed to create my own, so I've used that birthday alpha to just stamp out a burr. And I did use StazOn ink for that and stamped it a couple of times just to make sure that it was super dark and covered up the printing on that journal spot. Now I thought I was finished, but when I stepped back to sort of look at the layout, actually I'll be honest, I stepped back to turn the camera off, and I looked at it and I like the doilies up there on the title card, but they kind of don't go with anything else. They're just sort of stuck out like a sore thumb. So I'm going to add just a couple of these, like ones that I'd used up the top and cut off and kept, just to add a little bit down the bottom, and it just helps tie the whole thing together. Now I will leave a link for Rosie Studios down below, and also don't forget to check out that discount code for Kellie stamps. These 3 stamp sets are available right now, and as you can see, they're pretty versatile. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen, or why not check out my Patreon page, because there are even more videos over there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!